Good evening, everyone. How are we doing today? It's been not gonna lie to you, it's been a rough week. It's been a hard week. It's been a long day, but that's okay because I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna spend some time with my kids, see my missus, have a hot shower and a hot meal, and that is just gonna make everything better. Because that's what's important, right? Like spending time with the kids, missus, a hot shower, and nice food is a beautiful thing to have, especially if you spend some time not having them, right? Anyway, all of that rubbish aside, I thought I would, seeing as the video that I put up last week did so well, like even with Instagram hammering my reach, there was a few people said it helped them, so they had a rubbish day, and it helped point them in the direction. So I thought I would pop this one up again, or pop this one up and have a chat about like talent and skills and stuff like that, because it's really easy, especially in the woodworking industry, in any industry really, to have those individuals that like rise to the top, do really well because they're talented, and that sucks for the rest of us because we're not born with that talent. You know, we have. I always quite like to say that I'm not talented, I'm skilled, right? Without giving myself a big head. Everything that I know how to do, I've worked for, right? Nobody's told me, like, there's certain things in the business, like running a business, building the CNC, running a laser machine, doing CAD work, certain projects I do, making boats. Nobody's told me how to do it, right? I've had to learn, and it sucked. There's been like real sucky days and sucky periods where I've had to strip everything back or throw things in a bin, and still happens now, if I'm honest with you. It does still happen now. But the point being is that I guess I don't really like to say that words are unhelpful, because I think we're all grown-ups, right? We're not like going to get worked up over certain words being used. I would hope anyway. But I think it's really important, especially if you're getting into a hobby, into a career, you know, talking to kids, that we reinforce the fact that it's not necessarily talent that's what's important, because you're born with it, right? You can't create talent. And I always say to my kids that discipline and hard work and consistency beats talent like 100% of the time. And I genuinely believe that, right? I think it's really easy for somebody who's talented in stuff, and I've seen them before, where they just think they don't have to work very hard, or they don't have to put the effort in, they don't have to put the time in, and then somebody who's like dedicated and consistent and turns up, who's disciplined, they actually kick them out of the park one day. And that's a really interesting thing to see. So the point of today is, and it sort of goes back to last week about mistakes, is that, you know, when things are hard and they're difficult, that's part of the process. It's supposed to be hard and difficult because you're doing something you haven't done before. You're doing something that you don't know about. And so that's okay, right? It's okay for it to suck. It's okay for it to be difficult. It's okay for you to make mistakes. It's okay for things to go wrong. It's okay for you to sit there and think, oh, I've had enough of this. I can't do this anymore. And I have days like that. I have, like, you guys see how positive I am. And for the most part, that's how I am, right? I have been described as irritatingly positive. I had one job where they said I was like a tornado when I walked in the office. And like everyone would be working there nice and quiet, and I'd come in and everyone would start talking and kicking about, and yeah, that's a good way to be, I think. Maybe not winding people up, but you know what I mean. And so I think it's really important, especially when we're talking to our kids, because like as grown-ups, like we understand how the world works, right? And kids don't necessarily understand that. Or when you're getting into a new hobby, you know, people getting into woodworking, they see stuff and they think, I'm never going to be able to attain that. I'm never going to be able to have that level of skill. And people always laugh at me because they think I'm big-headed and arrogant, because I'll be like, oh, well. And they're like, no, you won't. And I'm like, yeah, well, because I know I'll put the work in for it, right? Before we started this, or before we were here, when I was working full-time, I'd work full-time. I'd work 7:30 till 4:30. I'd go home and get changed. I'd work in the workshop until 9:30. And I'd go in, eat, and I'd sit on the laptop until 10:30, 11 o'clock. And I did it because this is what I wanted to do, and I wanted it to work. Just like there was a period in time when I wanted to get my 3-mile time under 20 minutes, and it absolutely rinsed me. But I did it. And I was working 60 hours a week at the time, and I went and I did it because it was important to me. And if things are important to you, then you're going to put the time and the effort in, right? But I do think it's important, again, important, to just remember and to reiterate to ourselves when we're having crap days and we're having rubbish days and we're making loads of mistakes, that everyone does it. It's all part of the process. It's okay. And what it doesn't matter that we make the mistakes as long as we're learning from them. What matters is that we have the discipline and the motivate. Well, no, motivation is the wrong word, because there's lots of days I'm not motivated to come to work. There's lots of days that I don't necessarily want to come in here, just like everybody, you know. But if you're disciplined and you're consistent, you put the effort in, you work hard, then things will work out for you. And I think that's a beautiful thing to remember, especially when things aren't going particularly well. And, you know, let's be fair, right? The last 3 years, if you've been running your own business, has been absolutely horrendous for a lot of people. And in the woodworking trade, the last 6 months has been a killer, because prices go up, utilities go up, everything goes up, and people haven't got any money, so they don't necessarily want to spend it. So you've got to try and find different ways to work it. So it's all about having that discipline and the consistency to come into work and face those problems that we have, and to keep moving. And whether it's a hobby or your job, you know, I think that holds true in every aspect. But I might just be rambling rubbish, right? Because I've had half a can of beer. So if you agree with us, if you don't agree with us, that's absolutely fine. We're all grown-ups. Drop it below in the comments and let me know. And I shall leave you to it. And if you've stayed this long, thank you very much for watching, all right? You'll have an awesome evening. You take it easy. And I'll catch you on the next one.